now, maybe a little more. But basically, there were the reports that Cam Reddish could be had for 2 second-round picks. Everyone's like, why haven't the Lakers done that? And we find out today that it's because other teams the Lakers are basically, sounds like, a bidding war against teams like Dallas, Milwaukee. Now, problem with that is that drives the
Milwaukee.
Price. Yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, because they could use another big, sizable wing to back up Middleton, a guy that can come in, play, 10, 15 minutes a game.
No, that's fair. But I was just kind of wondering, as far as pieces, what are they gonna? Well, what are they offering? I really want to know.
That's my question too. Like, what's the
very curious?
what's the offer? And I think that there are a couple factors that go into that. So, one, he's a clutch client, so we got an inherent advantage because of LeBron James.
Yeah.
Two, I think he would have at least the opportunity for a bigger role with the Lakers. Milwaukee, you're probably never playing more than like 10 minutes a game unless Middleton goes down. And even then, as soon as Middleton comes back, you're going back to playing 10, 15 minutes a game. Not going to get a real role with Milwaukee, and you're probably not going to get a real role with Dallas. You might play. You'll probably play about 15
Dallas seems like a weird fit. Like that would seem like a weird fit for Cam. Milwaukee, I can understand, and LA, I can understand, but Dallas is like the oddball out to me. If you're in Cam's shoes, I'm looking at Dallas. I'm like, doesn't really seem like there's a role, like a place for me here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't really think that would make a lot of sense for them either. But, I think LA offers a better role, more promise. But he is a restricted free agent, so any team could just trade for him and he's stuck. But I think the sort of advantage you have is that, one, he's a guy that has had history dating back to Duke for his work ethic and just commitment to the game of basketball, right? So if you're a team like Milwaukee, if he doesn't really want to be there, do you trade for him? Because I wouldn't, right? Like, guy that doesn't really want to be here, he's already kind of a risk to trade for. He has a history of just not being committed. So you're going to take on a guy that's not really committed. And then on top of that, he's going to come to a place that he doesn't really want to be. I think things could get very difficult, very tricky fast. So that might be an advantage there for the Lakers. But, look, if we can get Cam Reddish, I would absolutely love it. I wouldn't mind it. I want people to understand, like I briefly mentioned earlier, you're not trading for, Jeremy Grant here. Like, you're trading for a project player, essentially, a guy that hopefully can come in and make an impact, which, look, Austin Reeves, Max Christie, guys like that have all carved the role and have found a way to get into the rotation just by, working hard, stuff like that. I also think the Lakers would be great for Cam Reddish because you got LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Darvin Ham is a really good player guy, player coach. Now, Phil Handy is, notorious for that as well. I think you really have a lot of guys here that could really kind of take that young man and mold him and get him right, So I think that from a career standpoint for Reddish, I think the Lakers make a lot of sense. I don't think Reddish would cost a fortune for the long haul. I think you bring him in and you're probably signing him for, $8 million a year or whatever. Maybe it's a shorter term deal, whatever. But again, he's a restricted free agent. It's not like he has much options. You could sign him for as long as you want. If a team comes in and offers, 4 years at $20 million, well, then you just match it, right? So I think that he's definitely a piece that could be very nice for the Lakers. But I don't think he's a needle mover the way people want him to be.
Yeah.
Now, he could. You never really know. It's not like he was in the best situation in New York. He is a guy that even in that poor situation is averaging like 8 to 10 points a game. He gets a real role. He gets a real opportunity. He's in a place where he feels like, okay, like they actually want me here. I actually want to be here. I got guys that I can look up to. I got guys that I inspire to be. Like all of that stuff. That can change a lot and really kind of get him bought in. And he could easily carve a role as a defensive wing. Like even he's shooting 30, like just under 31%.
Like 30% for the three, yeah.
Yeah, he's shooting like 30 point something. He's not shooting the three ball well, but if he can play really good defense, Stanley Johnson, I mean, this season for the Spurs, he's done pretty good. But last season, he wasn't shooting the three ball very well, but it was just his defense was what was great. So if he can come in and kind of be that defensive catalyst, that would be huge. He's 6'8", can play both forward spots. He's 23 years old, so you'd have him for the next several seasons. I mean, you could have him for the next 10 years, and he'd still be in his prime. Like, that's perfect. So, like, that's the kind of pieces the Lakers need, stuff like that. So, hopefully, Lakers can pull that up. But what are your thoughts on Cam Reddish?
With his, I think who would really benefit after, like, trying to model his game after, like a Lonnie Walker. I feel like playing with Lonnie, almost like look up to Lonnie. I don't. It depends on what we're gonna give up. Like, because what are we offering? What have we put on the table before what we?
There hasn't been any like confirmed like actual offers. It's just the only thing that we got was from a Knicks guy that said the Knicks want 2 second-round picks. So a lot of people are like, where's that deal? Why haven't the Lakers gotten that deal done? It's only 2 seconds, trade the seconds. The Lakers probably would. But you got to understand, if there are 3, 4, 5 teams all bidding, if you're the Knicks, you're waiting, right? Because what if one of those teams is willing to give up a first? Wouldn't you rather have a first than 2 seconds? Like, would Milwaukee be like, we're going to have probably the 27th pick in the draft anyway. So our best bet is to get a guy like Cam Reddish. Let's just get the guy now that helps us now and the future, rather than maybe we get a guy in the draft that turns out to be that. Like, would a team do that? Like, so if you're the Knicks, your best bet is to stay patient and allow this to develop and unfold. And if you're the Lakers, you're hoping that no other team, or either no other team is willing to go beyond a certain price that you can meet, or that Cam Reddish basically makes it known that, like, he wants to be a Laker. Like if Rich Paul is like, sorry guys, Cam Reddish wants to go to the Lakers, then I think it'll lower the price for the Lakers, and 2, it would all but guarantee that the Lakers would get him, because teams aren't going to trade for Cam Reddish if they don't believe that he wants to be there.
Yeah, and it would be nice to see him go to somewhere where he's actually going to get play time, and not just, like you said, not like go back to like a New York type situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think out of all those options, like LA is the best place, because you mentioned as much play time you're going to get in Milwaukee, you're probably going to get not too much more than that in Dallas. You know what I mean? So if you could kind of just stick it out and like you said, just be a good, develop into like a good role guy, kind of like a,
he'd be a nice piece too for the future. You know what I mean? Like, you'd have him, Max Christie, Austin Reeves, maybe. The
only thing is it's a question mark for the future. I like him on this team, but my thing is, like, moving forward after we move some of our bigger and more key pieces, like how is it going to look then? You know what I mean? Or is it just going to be a piece in the next few years where we like, yeah.
I was gonna say, the idea is by that point he'd be a year or 2 out of his prime, gets to take on a bigger role, and then maybe he can turn into the guy we need.
Hopefully,
that would be the hope, is that he gets the experience, gets the play time, you develop him, you grow him over the next 2 seasons with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and everybody, and then LeBron might end up leaving. If he ends up leaving, then you have Cam Reddish, who hopefully is ready to take that next step. So I mean, it's a question that is not really going to have an answer until that time comes. But he is a guy that has potential. I mean, he was a lottery pick. Like, he was a guy that people like really believed in, because he was the 10th pick. So he's a guy that had a lot of promise, a lot of upside. He was a top recruit. He was everything that you usually want from a lottery guy. And now if the Lakers can snag him, that's just huge for the Lakers. But
yeah.